As reported, Ukrainian drones launched strikes on the central districts of Novorossiysk. At the same time, naval drones attacked the port of Novorossiysk, Russia's largest seaport, home to, among other things, the Caspian Pipeline Consortium oil terminal and a naval base for the Russian Black Sea Fleet. According to the regional task force, the attack on Novorossiysk damaged 7 residential buildings, including the Novorossiysk Hotel. The roof of one apartment building on Shevchenko Street caught fire. 2 people were killed. The investigative committee reported that 12 people were injured, 2 of whom are in serious condition. A state of emergency has been declared in the city. Authorities stated that they are continuing to repel the drone attack. The governor asked residents to observe safety precautions and, if possible, stay home. Recently, drones armed with high explosive warheads targeted Crimea. A building in the village of Foros was seriously damaged, according to the head of the Republic, Sergei Askyanov. Preliminary damage to the village of Foros in Crimea as a result of an attack by Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles exceeded 18.7 million rubles. Representatives of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium reported that operations at the company's office had been suspended due to a drone attack. The building was damaged and staff were evacuated. According to CPC, 2 of their employees were injured, but there were also serious injuries among non-company employees. The Federal Agency for Maritime and River Transport stated that there was no damage to port infrastructure or vessels in the Novorossiysk seaport following the drone attack. Due to the threat of drone attacks in the Krasnodar region, authorities in Gelendzhik preemptively closed access to the sea for all watercraft, while people in Tuapse and Sochi were evacuated from the coastal area. On September the 22nd, an attack in Crimea killed 3 people. On September the 23rd, Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin reported that air defenses repelled an attack by more than 35 drones. Russian military expert Yuri Nutov says that by striking civilian targets in Russia, the Ukrainian armed forces want to cause panic and discontent among the population. Zelensky will likely claim that there's supposedly serious public discontent in Russia, and many are demanding peace under any conditions. This isn't true, but it could be a good argument for Kyiv. The clear strategy that Zelensky and his team are currently pursuing is precisely the war the European Union needs to prepare to confront Moscow. Indirect confirmation of this is the statement by the head of European diplomacy, Kaja Kallas, who said the EU needs another 2 years to transition its economy to a war footing and implement military reforms, the expert added. As reported, Ukrainian Defense Forces destroyed 2 BE-12 amphibious aircraft in Crimea, whose primary function is to patrol coastal waters. Coastal radar stations monitoring the maritime situation are also being systematically destroyed. According to the military balance, as of 2024, the Russian Navy's naval aviation had only 6 BE-12 PS aircraft. As of 2022, the 318th Separate Mixed Aviation Regiment of the Russian Black Sea Fleet at Kacha Airfield had 5 BE-12 PS aircraft. In Russia, a program to modernize the existing fleet of BE-12 amphibious aircraft was adopted in early 2018. The modernized aircraft received new onboard equipment, a hydrocaustic system, detection sensors, and a magnetic anomaly detector, as well as improved depth charges and torpedoes. The Russian Black Sea Fleet first began using BE-12 aircraft in the war against Ukraine in August 2022 to search for potential saboteurs and monitor shipping to the ports of Greater Odessa. Ukraine has no submarines, but after the full-scale Russian invasion began, naval drones were quickly developed and deployed, causing serious damage to ships and boats of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. In this regard, the ancient BE-12 amphibious aircraft came in handy for the Russian military to detect Ukrainian unmanned boats. Another important action that paves the way for Ukrainian naval drones to reach Crimean ports, the Kerch Bridge, and the Novorossiysk naval base, is the destruction of coastal radar stations on the peninsula. These radars provide information on the situation off the Crimean coast, identifying ships, boats, and naval drones. For example, on August the 31st, the Main Intelligence Directorate HUR announced the destruction of an MR-10M1 MISS M1 radar in Crimea. The destruction of coastal radars of this type was also announced on March the 19th and 27th of 2025. On July the 1st, the Main Intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine announced the destruction of the Pechora-3 coastal radar in the city of Saki. On September the 23rd, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces confirmed an attack on Kacha airfield. Ukrainian military officials reported hitting 2 Russian aircraft. Enemy assets struck units of the Main Intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. The results and extent of the damage are being clarified. The statement read, on September the 21st, Ukraine's military intelligence destroyed 3 Russian Mi-8 helicopters and a radar station in Crimea. The Russian invaders' air fleet in the Crimea has been reduced again as a result of successful combat operations. HUR wrote on Telegram. On the evening of September the 22nd, Crimean Telegram channels reported a drone attack on Sevastopol. According to the city's Russian mayor, Mikhail Razvozeyev, 6 drones were allegedly shot down by air defense forces as they approached the city, and another was shot down near Kacha. A grass fire was reported there. In addition to the BE-12, the Kacha airfield also houses AN-26 military transport aircraft. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces did not specify which aircraft were hit. It is believed that Ukraine will soon launch a massive attack on Crimea with missiles and drones. Therefore, Russian equipment involved in the defense of Crimea is being destroyed. The destruction of the Crimean Bridge during the attack is also considered inevitable. This means that the Crimean Bridge is in its last days.